Podcast episode number 6. Are millennials ditching Gen X retirement strategies? Will it pay off? Welcome back to Retirement Solutions for All Ages. I'm your host, Ruth, the retirement mortgage expert at Maxim Mortgage. Today, I'm genuinely excited to dive into a fascinating article from Kiplinger written by Donna Fuscaldo, titled Beyond 401ks: How Millennials Are Ditching Gen X Retirement Strategies. Will it pay off? I truly enjoyed and agreed with this piece, and it highlights a shift we're all seeing. It beautifully illustrates that sometimes the old adage, listen to your elders, doesn't always ring true. At least not when you ask millennials about their retirement planning. Right or wrong, good or bad, millennials, those born between 1981 and 1996, have a different approach to saving for retirement than the generation before them, Gen X. From how they work to how they save, they're consciously skewing Gen X methods and forging their own unique path. That independence is partly a byproduct of the environment they came of age in, and partly shaped by the amazing tools and technology now available to them. But one thing is certain, and this is where both generations truly connect. They share the same fundamental worry: whether they'll have enough money to retire comfortably. According to research from BlackRock, 63% of Gen Xers worry they'll outlive their retirement savings, while for millennials, it's 56%. That's where the similarities largely end. Beyond that, millennials approach retirement differently in some surprising ways. Let's break them down. The early bird catches the worm, and the risk takers take the lead. The first major difference is undeniably powerful. Millennials started saving earlier. It's a pretty established fact by now that the sooner you start saving for retirement, the better off you'll be when you decide to retire. As we emphasized in our first episode, the power of compounding interest is truly magic. And if you save in a tax advantage, company sponsored plan like a 401k, it's even better. For Gen X, an early start wasn't always a given. For millennials, it was. As a result, they began saving earlier than their older counterparts. Add automatic 401k enrollment to the mix, and it's easy to see why Gen X is playing catch up in terms of retirement savings. In fact, Brian Bibbo, president and CFO of JL Smith Holistic Wealth Management, notes that at 35 or 40, millennials are already ahead of where Gen Xers were in terms of saving for retirement at the same age. The second key difference: millennials are less risk adverse. From cryptocurrencies to ETFs, the landscape of investment options have changed dramatically. Millennials aren't afraid to test these new waters. They became adults during a more than 10-year bull run in the stock markets and are thus more inclined to believe that everything keeps going up, which makes them more willing to take risks. Gen X, on the other hand, lived through defining moments in the dot-com bust and the Great Recession of 2008 and 2009. As a result, they are much more skeptical and conservative when it comes to investing. Stephanie Tamporiti, a wealth advisor at Hightower Wealth Advisors, confirms millennials are willing to take more risk than Gen X. Valuing guidance and embracing technology. Moving on to our third distinction, millennials value advice. Gen Xers are often characterized as an independent group, the latchkey kids who were sent out to play unsupervised until dark. They didn't have helicopter parents managing their every move, making them more apt to go it alone instead of seeking advice of financial advisors. Millennials are quite different. Brian Bibbo points out that they tend to work with financial advisors at a young age compared to Gen X, who held off on that. Bibbo also adds that while Gen X is a little ashamed that they are not feeling on track, millennials are more likely to say, I trust you, you're the professional, get me on track. This openness to professional guidance is a significant factor. Our fourth point is perhaps no surprise. Millennials are tech savvy. They are the first generation to grow up with mobile devices and, by default, are more comfortable with technology than Gen X. This comfort has seeped into everything, including how they invest, save for retirement, and other factors in life. They're using robo-advisors, investment apps, and online trading platforms. They're also taking full advantage of the wealth of financial information available over the internet to become more informed investors, something that wasn't accessible when Gen X was younger. Bill Van Sant, managing director of Gerard, a Univest Wealth division, observes that millennials don't seem skeptical about financial tools versus some of the older Gen Xers. Prioritizing happiness and the unanswered questions. Our final and most defining difference: millennials don't want to wait to pursue happiness. The mantra of work hard and enjoy yourself when you finally retired resonated with previous generations, but not millennials. They've seen what the path can lead to, potentially sacrificing present joy for a distant future that might not fully materialize as planned. As a result, they aren't willing to wait to pursue their happiness, even if it's at the expense of their retirement savings. Stephanie Tamporiti states, they want to find fulfilling work, make a good living, and enjoy their lives as much as they can. They don't want to wait until retirement to do all the things they want to do. Gen X, by contrast, doesn't typically subscribe to that philosophy and tends to be a little more frugal than millennials. So the jury is out. Without a doubt, millennials and Gen X approach to retirement investing and savings is different. Will millennials' penchant for risk blow up in their faces? Will Gen Xers regret their reluctance to embrace technology and professional advice earlier? Only time will tell. What's undeniable, though, is the important takeaway. Both generations recognize the immense value of saving for retirement. There's no single right way to get there. What works for one person or one generation may not be ideal for another. As the retirement mortgage expert, I've seen firsthand how different life experiences shape our financial decisions. Whether you're a millennial leveraging technology to take calculated risks, or a Gen Xer prioritizing traditional securities, understanding your own financial mindset is crucial. And remember, the power of starting early with compounding interest, as we discussed in our very first episode, is a universal truth, regardless of generation. My role is to help bridge these generational perspectives and find solutions that align with your goals. Whether you're optimizing your home equity, understanding innovative mortgage products like the all-in-one loan, or simply building a plan for financial independence, your path is unique and it deserves tailored solutions. Thank you for joining me on Retirement Solutions for All Ages. If this episode sparked a conversation or a new thought about your own retirement strategy, please leave us a review, share it with someone from a different generation, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future insights. Until next time, I'm Ruth, the retirement mortgage expert, empowering you to shape your financial future on your own terms.